Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien? Excelente. Welcome to Total Spanish. Today we're going to learn el abecedario, the alphabet. So let's go to the board. So first, I'm going to be mentioning all the letters in Spanish and certain examples that could help to understand the sound or how we use the letters in Spanish, how we pronounce it. Okay? So first, A. A, así, abeja, abeja. B, así, burro, burro. C, así, casa, casa, home. But here, the letter C or C, depending of the vowels you're using, the sound is going to change. For instance, here in casa sounds more like a letter K, right? But if you combine the C with the letter E or la letra C con la letra E, it's going to sound like, for instance, as in Cesar, you see we're using the same, the letter C, but here it is no Cesar, it is Cesar, like an S. Okay? So depending on the vowel, the sound of the letter C is going to change, okay? It could be, for instance, with the letter A, con la letra A, it's going to be casa, and with the letter E, la letra E, is going to be César, like an S. So now, D, dedo, E, elefante, F, fuego, fire, G, gato, gato. Now, depending of the vowel you're using as well, the letter of this is going to change. But it's going to be, for instance, G y A is going to be ga. G and the letter E is going to be G. Okay? Depending of what vowel you're using in a word, it's going to change, right? H, H. Here, the letter H doesn't have any sound, right? So, for instance, if the letter in the word house, the H has a sound, right? But in Spanish, the letter H, la letra H, doesn't have any sound. For instance, in this word, yellow, yellow, we are only pronouncing these words. Yellow. This one, the letter H, la letra H, doesn't have any sound. It doesn't matter the word. It doesn't have any sound. It is just there because of, I think, because of grammar, because of orthography. So yeah, but it doesn't have any sound. So you don't have to worry about it. But you have to pay attention when where this letter appears, because if you start to write without using it, you're gonna have a lot of mistakes, right? So let's continue. Y, y, as in imagen, imagen, image, okay? Imagen. Y, J, J, as in juego, juego, game or play, depending of the use, right? Because in Spanish, play and game could be the same. Well, the same word, not the same meaning. K, K, as in kilo, kilo, okay? K, L, L, as in lago, lago, or depending if you are using a double L, like here in lluvia, lluvia, rain. You see here, double L sounds like a J or a Y. So, lluvia, lluvia, no lluvia. No, 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 no. If you see double L, it's more like the sound is gonna be more like this one or this one, depending of or how fast of how fast you pronounce it. The sound is gonna change. So L, lago, doble L, double L, lluvia. Okay. M, M, Mario. So here is a thing with these three letters. If you are in a phone call and you are speaking, the quality of the phone call is not the best sometimes. So you're you probably or you're gonna hear or you're gonna understand another some of these two letters, uh, but that's why you need to call them. You need to say, for instance, M as in Mario, M de Mario, okay? Because it's really easy to confuse them, even for natives. It's easy to misunderstand what you're listening to. For instance, as in the words June and July, in Spanish it is Julio and Junio. Well, July, Julio, June, Junio. In Spanish, junio and julio, it is just the letter L and M, which makes the difference. But if you are in phone call, probably you're going to be like, what did you say? So, yeah. So, M as in Mario. N, that's why you see the sound is practically similar. Well, it's similar, it's not the same, it's similar. M, you use your lips. N, you don't use your lips, you see. M, N, N as in niño, okay? And here is something that's going to appear in the next letter. Niño. So let's go for the next one. Ñ, Ñ. So this is really important because this word, you're gonna find it a lot of times. So you cannot just avoid it. No, you have to learn it. You can start by saying, for instance, here, piña, piña, pineapple, piña. You can say this at the beginning, piña, nia. You see, instance of instead of enya, you say nia. This is something that would help at the beginning, and with the practice, you're going to be able to pronounce the letter ñ. But you can say this at the beginning, and the people is going to understand for sure, no problem. But ñ, ñ, as in piña, piña. Yeah. So now, o, as in oso, bear. O, oso, right? P, P, as in padre, father, okay? Q, Q, as in que, que. You see here, it change. Q sounds like a K and a U, and the letter U. But when you use it, it changes and it sounds like a K, more or less. That's why que. And actually, a lot of people that doesn't have, or well, these people don't have good orthography. They write like this. Instead of saying que written well, they say que, using the letter K and the letter E and this symbol, interrogation symbol, this question symbol. But this is not right. This is wrong. If you are gonna learn, please learn well, please. So Q, but sounds like K, like K, then K. Okay, we almost finished. So now the letter R, la letra R. R. In Spanish, depending of the position of the letter R, it's going to sound different. And actually, here I'm missing a word, but I'm going to write it down just like this. But let's begin with ratón. It's at the beginning, so it sounds like it sounds. R, ratón. But if the R is in the middle and you want to sound the same R, you have to apply a double R, una doble R. Double R, double R. For instance, in this case, ferrocarril, train, a train. Well, in this word, the sound R should be the same, but it is in the middle, so it's rated like double R, double R, okay? Ferrocarril. But there is another example that you don't want to sound, well, the Spanish dictates that the letter doesn't have to sound R. Instead, it has to sound like R, but well, in this case, pero, ro, pero, which is but in English, but when you say, I would like to buy this, but I don't have the money. Okay, so but. Pero, you see the sound of the R here is like ro. Well, because of the vowel, right? The vowel O, pero. So, depending on the position of the letter R, it's going to sound different, okay? So, S, serpiente. S, it's like S. T, torre. It's the same. T, it's like torre. Okay? With the letter A, la letra A, it's going to say like ta. Con la letra I, ti. Con la letra O, to. Y con la letra U, tu. Like in you, in Spanish, you, tú. Okay? U. Uva. U. U. You see my mouth, how it works? U. U. Like the cow. Moo. You see? Víbora. V. V. It literally in Spanish is U, B. Okay? Because it has the same sound as the letter V, but it's a new. So, yeah. V, as in víbora. Víbora. Okay? You see, here's a different difference in pronunciation between the letter V and the letter B. Sorry, and the letter B. B. It's kind of difficult for a person who is not from Spain because we pronounce, well, it's going to be another class, but we pronounce many letters as the same. We don't make that difference in the pronunciation. Because if you say burro and you write it down with V and you say burro, the people is going to understand. Actually, we do not make the difference. Well, many people do not make the difference between the sounds because we combine them. We use them as the same. But that's another class. Here, the important is that B sounds like V, like using your lips uh, and your teeth and putting your tongue between before your teeth, and you apply all those three at the same time. Víbora, right? But if you say víbora, like using the letter B, completely the same. Well, at least for many people in Latin America. Now here, W, W. Um, in Spanish, we do not use that much the W because this is most used for foreign words. Okay, so for instance, or technicisms. So as you can see, the word web, it's not in Spanish. It's not a Spanish word. So W, but you need to understand the sound of the letter W. Okay, W. It's the same. W. Now here, X. X. Depending on how you use the letter X, it's going to sound different because it is like X, 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 right? In the word, if it is in the middle, it's gonna sound like a J. Okay? Like ha, 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 ha. For instance, ha, ha, it's our ha, ha, okay, to express laugh. Um, it's gonna be Mexico. He instead of X, X, X. It's gonna be like a J. Mexico. It is not, in Spanish, it is not Mexico. X, X. No, it's Mexico, like a J. Okay? Like this one. Juego, Mexico. You see, the sound is similar. Okay? But at the same time, if it is in the middle, in many words, it's like this, the sound X, X, explicar, explicar, to explain, explicar, to explain, okay? But at the same time, as in the word xylophone, okay? Xylophone, okay? Y, it's literally, it means Greek eye, okay? Y. This letter has two ways to pronounce it. E, like as in the word, which is ant, and the word, okay? It sounds like a white pen. Yeso, yeso. Now, here another one. Zeta, zeta, as in zorro, zorro. So here's what I was telling you. In many countries, the difference between and S, okay? We don't make the difference between Z and S. Mm, because of history, we learned the language differently. That's another, well, belongs to this topic. For instance, in Mexico, you say zorro instead of zorro. Well, I think that's the pronunciation because you can see in, to explain this, just to finish, the word cereza. You hear me? It's like cereza. I don't make any difference in the word, in the letters. But in Spain, they make the difference between C and the letter Z. They say cereza, cereza. I think that's the pronunciation. I think that I don't know because I'm not from Spain. I don't want to make a mistake. But they say cereza instead of the way I say it, which is cereza. It sounds more powerful, like if it was an S or a C, right? Well, it is a C, but you understand, right? So I don't say zorro, I say zorro, okay? Depending of how you want to use them, it's good. The people, that's the point. It's going to try to understand, and at some point, you're okay. So este es el abecedario, and understand how to pronounce the letters. Thank you very much for being here today. That you watch all the videos. Please make sure to subscribe for the next classes. Gracias. Nos vemos. Cuídate.